Absolutely. Here we go. Spawning down on the bottom left, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, looking to come back from 0-2 in the group and qualify through. It is Zest. Mr. Handsome himself.
His opponent in the upper right, the genius Zerg from the Shopify Rebellion. He is Lambo.
And fun fact for this stream, this is the first ZVP we're casting in the entirety of this, and it might, will it be the only one we cover? Or do we get Scarlet? We get Scarlet versus Joun, right?
No, we get Scarlet Joun and we get Scarlet Maru as well. So.
But the only ZVP I said, not the only Zerg.
Only ZVP.
Yeah. Yeah. We are going to be seeing, Zest. He just checks on that hatchery right there. He does, of course, go for the hatch block, which is the predominant way of playing. Zest, a very control-oriented player, really, really loves... he really loves playing this highly sharp style, and his ZVP recently has looked very, very difficult to deal with. Now, Lambo has gone on record as saying that he doesn't think the Korean Protosses understand ZVP or understand Protoss or certain matchups as well. He really thinks that the Terrans are the big smartest players from Korea, but unfortunately he hasn't been able to convert the massive understanding that he's had into victories in this group.
Yeah, unfortunately not. We saw Lambo. I was talking to to Gemini, Trap's biggest fan, before IEM Katowice, and his big prediction was that the offline format, the fact that players are on similar ping and right next to each other, would make that these Queen Walk styles that have been decimating Protoss hopes for the last 2 years not nearly as strong. And certainly that worked out in the Trap versus Lambo series. Lambo walks the Queens, Trap holds it because the micro for Void Rays is actually somewhat complex. They have really slow acceleration, and you have to manage that pretty well to make sure it happens. And when you're on even ping, you can do that. But of course, Lambo, he really has been this Zerg thought leader, at least in the Western scene, I think, at most builds. Maybe not the quick Spire build that we saw Rainer and DRG play around with, but most of these ZVP builds do originate from probably a Lambo video, something like that. But Zest, though, he's kind of the PvZ thought leader in Korea right now. He's got a bunch of different builds that he's been messing around with.
He certainly does, and he certainly has been. He's very much an innovator. He was the first player to do 2-base carrier builds. He was the player was it last Katowice, or was that 2 Katowices ago? I think it was 2 Katowices ago. Yeah, where he innovated the build that has defined the meta for a very long time of ZVP, that 4-gate resonating glaives build. To say that he is one of the smarter Protosses in Korea is, well, I mean, it's just fact. It's just a straight up fact.
Now, Steadfast, it's going to be interesting to see here because maybe I just haven't seen enough Zest games, but we're not seeing Zest define the Katowice meta like he has in the last 2 ones. The previous Katowice, we had that 4-gate glaives. He had something last Katowice, I forget what it was. But anyways, like, he has brought these new builds to the World Championship every year that he has done well, and that has been a key component as to why he has stomped through the group stage until some Zerg figures him out in the finals. I'm almost wondering whether, should Zest qualify out here, the fact that he has not dominated the meta really is a good thought here. So, the Oracle and the Void Ray fly in, 3-4 workers are going to go down. Not enough anti-air to deal with 2 units in the sky, so 4 drones, they kick the bucket.
That is a pretty great start right here for Zest. Very painful start for Lambo. We are going to be seeing that double Stargate play. Zest very comfortable with his defensive micro against the Queen Walk plays. We're going to be keeping an eye on whether or not a layer starts up. Something important to note, that part of forcing a hatchery at the 3rd base does allow the Zerg to get their creep spread very far forward, but Lambo did not elect to go straight up in it to the initial tumor. Gets the drone. Nice job.
It's actually so expensive when you go with the cancel and you still lose it. And the stasis trap as well. Jeez, Zest is just, I don't know, feels like half a degree faster.
I mean, Zest has always had incredibly sharp micro. He does get a good bit done. Now, what he needs to keep an eye on is there a layer? And the answer is, well, Now, yes, we got 5 gas setup getting thrown down all at once. So Lambo deciding, you know what, I've taken too much damage. I can't win this with a queen walk. If he was thinking about it, and he is going to macro from here. Zest will need to identify this so he doesn't have to throw down a bunch of shield batteries at the third. And as he sees this layer, that's going to let him know that, yep, I can get away with going for a Stargate, third Stargate, and a quick fleet beacon. This is a strong way of playing.
So Steadfast, a couple things. First and foremost, there are queen walk layer builds, delayed queen walks, things like that. Actually, there's a really cool one where you walk with a lot of queens corruptors as well and look to just hit that delayed timing. I don't know that we're going to see that, but roaches, I mean, actually Lambo is walking here. Roaches are on the way. There are 8 queens looking to run across the map and maybe trying to capitalize on this fact that Zest did scout the lair on the way. And maybe Zest is not preparing for it. So shield batteries, cannons on the way now, but that is not a lot of time for Zest to get them up. And he has committed so much money to the next step of his production. At the very least for now, though, I like this from Zest. I'm not sure it's enough time. It's going to be Tempest as a response. You get up to 5, the queens start dying, but before then, it's not quite enough DPS.
This is a very cool build from Lambo. I want to point something out momentarily, but we are going to see the Void Ray Micro starting on up. Zest hunting for these queens. Not going to be able to find them, or sorry, the Ravagers, not going to be able to find them. They are covered by the queens, but that will provide time for Zest to get a lot of static defenses at the natural. We do have the +1 air weapons completed for Zest. Lambo with some nice transfuses right there, keeping these units alive. Battery overcharge not getting popped right away. Will get one of these Void Rays incredibly low, but it does stay alive. The Corrosive Vial not enough to take down these cannons right here. Lambo, he is trying to push forward, misses the Corrosive Vials, misses them again, but does finally take down the Stalker. And this is, honestly, this is looking like it might already be out of steam.
Yeah, Steadfast, 3 Tempests on the way, 1 already out. We're almost hitting that one-shot queen potential. And look at the micro here from Zest. It should be pointed out, he's always keeping the Void Rays moving. He's managing the acceleration so the Void Rays can dodge the Vial, still get damage done. And the Tempest, oh, you got to be careful with that Tempest though, Zest. Don't rally that one on in, but the queens, they're not exactly target firing it just yet. And I'm not sure how much it matters anyways, but the Ravagers, they now find their way into the natural. Some of the Void Rays, I believe one of them has died, but man, the Tempest count, it is starting to grow. That's when things start to get scary. And I don't know that Lambo has got enough. As you said, Steadfast, it's running out of steam. Only thing that might help Lambo here is the fact that it's a lot of Zerglings on the way. Void Rays, Tempests, they don't kill Zerglings all that much. 11 SCVs die at the end of things.
Yeah, and that's a nice little consolation prize at the end, but Lambo wasn't droning during this. He was fully committed to going for the kill maneuver. And as a result, the transition is not strong. He does have a Spire on the way. Great. He's going to be able to build Corruptors eventually. But they're not going to be out just yet. And Zest feels confident to move across the map. I don't know about this move. He does have a lot of anti-ground and anti-queen firepower. If he knows that the Spire is not yet up, this is a great move out. Otherwise, it feels maybe a little risky. But as it is, he is going to be able to get a lot of damage done. And, oh, there's that one shot on the queens with those 5 Tempests.
Yeah, Steadfast, he sees how much money, how much gas specifically Lambo invested into that push. So he knows even if there are a lot of Corruptors on the way, it's not going to be enough to kill the entire army in a recall. So he says, okay, time for me to have some fun here. I got like 6, 7, I have 6 Tempests, and I am going to be able to put so much damage. Certainly one shot on the queens, and now with all the spores going down, there is so much siege potential. These queens, they're not gonna last that longer. There we go, prismatic alignment on the third base. Zest says, there we go, that's my prize. Queens on the way out. We're gonna have some Corruptors here, but it does not matter because Lambo, he has no money, Steadfast. And sure, a Tempest fall. Actually, I know that was a Void Ray fall. Tempests are still alive, but these Corruptors, they're still +1 Void. They're dying. Hey, there's not enough here.
Yeah, he does have 4 on the way, but Tempests, one Tempest and 1 Void Ray is all that Zest lost during that entire fight, and he kills 11 queens and 2 Corruptors as well as 8 Zerglings on just a random exchange, and the hatchery. And now, well, Lambo's gonna tap out, I think, momentarily. Yeah, there we go. GG is gonna get called. Zest will take game number 1. A stunning defense from him, and the woes for Lambo continue. Now, there is something I want to point out that Lambo did that was very cool. We may, maybe we'll get into it and show it afterwards, but we are going to be seeing a very cool little move, or we saw a very cool little move from Lambo. After he got scouted with the revelation, he used one of the drones that was revelated to build an extractor in the main base and build a 6th gas as an attempted mind game to fool Zest. But after the vision expired, he canceled it and went for that queen walk. However, Zest saw it early enough anyways with the Oracle. Even though he did lose that Oracle, it was still a good move right there from Zest. Got all that static defense up, and Lambo not able to make it happen.
Yep, that very much is the case. Smart ideas. We talked about, oh, he scouted the spot or scouted the layer. Maybe Zest doesn't read into this, but now Zest knew everything that he needed to do. And now that means Zest, he's at 1-0 as Lambo really suffering under some Lamb woe. As now game 2 is going to be Berlingrad. This is another map you can walk queens on. It's a little bit shorter than the previous map. And given everything that we've seen, I feel like Lambo he goes for another queen walk here. You'll lose it across. And it's probably his best setup. I mean, straight up, I don't know that Lambo has practiced his late game as much as other things. He's really put a lot of the eggs in this basket on this queen walk idea. And he's beaten a lot of Korean Protoss with this queen walk idea. So we're just going to have to find out as we have the countdown now into game number 2, Steadfast. Does Lambo take it, or is it a 2-0 for Zest?
Well, we're going to see just in a moment here. Game number 2, as you mentioned, Berlingrad, going to be a map. Very queen walkable map. But Zest looks airtight on the defense. Let's get into it. Spotting up in the top left, looking to keep his hopes and dreams alive. Representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is Zest in the red.
His opponent in the bottom right here, looking to finally win a series from the Shopify Rebellion, Lambo.
And he's going up to 17 drones. This is a little interesting. He sent it. Oh my God, he's sending this drone out so late. I mean, he's okay. He just says Zest's gonna block me anyways. Goes for the 17 hatch by choice, which is a little bit interesting. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it does mean that. So if you get the 16 hatch, it's just such a more convenient way of playing. Yes, you know, he gets an extra drone for a little bit longer mining. I guess that's something, but you get your queens popping out at the same time. You get, you don't have to build a 19 overlord. You can go for a 20 overlord and you won't get supply blocked. It's because of course the hatchery finishes up and provides that 6 additional supply just before the overlord would. I don't know. It feels like Lambo is maybe it's unfair to say, but maybe already mentally checked out. And if that's the case, honestly, I can't even blame him. Given the state of the group.
Yeah, now Steadfast updates on the other 2 matches because that has a lot of impact on how what this series means. Here Marine took game 1 over Bunny. If he takes that second one and Zest wins here, Bunny is going to be out of the group. There's no way to come back unless maybe Trap loses. If Trap loses to Estrella totally 0-2, then Bunny would stay in. But for now, Hero Marine taking the game over Bunny makes Zest's life a lot easier. It means he can now win this series most likely 2-1 versus 2-0. But for the moment, the game goes on. We're going to have to see what Lambo looks to do and how Zest looks to respond. This is a map that is a little bit harder to hold the Queen Walk on because the third base is just so wide open. And Zest with a 1-0 lead, maybe sensing a break in the mentality, something like that. It is the build that he got second place with Katowice with 2 years ago.
Well, it might be. We're going to keep an eye on this gas count for now. It is a Twilight Council, but as he continues to mine with 3 probes on each gas, there is a decent chance that this is actually a DT drop. We'll keep an eye on it for now. We'll pay attention to the subtle little differences. There's the robotics facility. Yeah, at this point, you would have already taken probes off gas, I'm pretty sure. Unless he really, really wants that glaze as fast as possible, but you don't need to do so. Yeah, he's going to go for a DT drop. Okay, this is very interesting from Zest. And Lambo, he is going to go for the scout here, but will get denied. In fact, he might actually lose this overlord. This would be devastating.
You know, sometimes it's almost to tell that the Protoss is doing something non-standard when they commit really hard to making sure that your Overlord gets found, as the Overlord stays alive for now, so there's that. But I wonder whether this is going to trigger any alarm bells for Lambo. I mean, you want to deny the scout, absolutely. But you don't always have the stalker patrolling everywhere, trying to make sure that 100% that scout does not get in. So for now, Zest, his Dark Shrine's about halfway done. We have Warp Prism on the way, second and third. Oh, this is 4-gate. This is 4-gate DT drop. Oh, wait just a minute, Steadfast. This is a lot of gateways.
Yes, this is, I believe this is a build that I myself have actually played up against, and it is DT Harass plus Charge Lot. And it is so obnoxious to deal with, but actually, hang on, he's going up to not just 6 gates. This is 8 gates right here. No probe production. This is going to be insanely difficult and annoying to deal with for Lambo. And as it is, he's only got 1 spore.
Yeah, I mean, Roachborn is on the way at the very least. He will have the units that he needs to defend, but look, if Zest just cuts his knees off, I mean, there's not a lot you can do. Sport's going to go down now. Queens are going to look for the body block. Actually, the Sport's not even on the way. Okay, it's from the natural, but look at this. Zest positioning actually is going to deny the plant for now. Here's the question. Is there Sport in the main? Not just yet, although I guess an Adept was warped in. Not sure where that came from. So actually, for the moment, Zest not getting too much damage with the first set of DTs, but he's going to try to morph an Archon right now. Queens are actually going to start looking for this, and they're going to find the Warp Prism before things complete, but the additional, that's just a free Queen after all. At the very least, a lot of the energy of it will go down. Charge is revealed, though, and that is very big, Steadfast. Lambo knows what he's dealing with now.
He does, but he droned very, very hard. Now, Zest didn't warp in for, I feel like a full warp in round. This is going to be a Charge Lot Archon all in. He is only on 37 probes. This, we do actually have the Queens getting surrounded on the left side. Warp Prism getting very low. That is the linchpin of this attack. And in fact, we're going to see both Archons going down. Zest will take down the Queens at the third base. But this is already looking very good for Lambo right here to hold. Spinecrawler in the greatest position on the third base is going to be really good. There's a lot of charge lots here. Lambo running away from a Sim City. This is not the best situation. Would love to see Zest pick up some Zealots and try and surround. That is what he's going to go for here. But, well, actually, no buts. This is a lot of units that are going down and a lot of charge lots warping on in.
Yeah, Steadfast, the thing that we're looking at when we judge 2-base Protoss all-ins, I know it's been a while since we've seen one, you're looking at the supply of army. If it equalizes at any point, that means the Protoss is actually in a really good spot here. So now the Zealots, they're going to move on. It's a lot of Zerglings against Zealots, and there's not a whole lot on the back line to get the damage done. So Zest with a warp in, he's starting to take the lead here. Lambo absolutely caught off guard. The last of the Queens go down, and look at this at the end of things. DTs get warped in. There's no detection in the third anymore, Steadfast. This Spine is going to try to do something, but something is not going to be enough. And Zest, understanding that he does not have to kill hatcheries, he has to kill army, he has to kill everything else. So more and more Zealots warp in. The DTs are just doing so much. There's no detection. There's nothing that Lambo can do. His supply is falling, but even still, we are. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, there's an Overseer out on the map now, so DT's not as unscoutable as they were. And Zest traded a lot of his army there.
Yeah, that was a great hold position on the drones right there. But now, funnily enough, Zest has actually done enough eco damage to theoretically macro out of this. We are going to see the Queen going for the Warp Prism. Will not get the kill. Another Queen falls. So many Queens have fallen. And Lambo trying to use the hold position on these drones. Very good job right there. And he will hold this. Takes the supply lead, but the worker lead that he had is no longer there. It is, yes, it is 3 base to 2. But Lambo is going to be feeling the pressure for a while. Actually, you know what? No. Zest is going to go back home with... Okay, he's going to turn this into an Archon drop. A lot of miscues kind of from both players right here. Oh, wow, he's going to go 1 Archon, 2 Zealots. I guess he doesn't have the gas. It makes sense. He's trying to build Immortals on the other side of the map. He will start to probe back up, adding on the gases and the natural as well. And Lambo, he's on a layer. So he's able to get that roach speed. He's able to re-drone up a little bit. Upon seeing this, he realizes his opponent has switched into harassment mode, and he is going to hit that drone count a whole lot harder.
Yeah, you say that Zest is equalized, and maybe so, as again, the random DT, but at this point, layer is done. Overseers are on the map. It's not... Look at the body block. Okay, he's not going to get it. And the addition of these Archon, or excuse me, of these Immortals, more and more Zealots are warping in. We may see, instead of, okay, Zest transitioning into other tech, into getting a third base, I think we may see this transitioning into just another big push. With 2 Immortals on the map, you get a lot more Zealots, and then you turn it to this Charge Lot Immortal Archon type of pressure, and there we go, Immortals running across the map here. Zest still has that Warp Prism, so he still has map pressure, and he still has the ability to reinforce. And Lambo, he did start droning for a little bit. He did understand that Zest moved to harass. We're going to have to see whether that was maybe a little bit too much or got exactly what he needed. Now the Archon's going to try to drop in the high ground, but Roach is there, Spore's there. Okay. Not too much doing, but really what I'm looking at is the drop, or excuse me, the run by the army on the north side. Oh.
Yeah, and Lambo just saw a glimpse of the Immortal walking by there with a tiny bit of the army. He is going to try and reposition here. This is a lot of stuff in the natural. He doesn't have all of his army fighting on the left side. Will allow Zest to kind of get a bit of free damage, but some great positioning on the ramp. Lambo needs to pull the drones from the natural. That is so desperate that he does so. Will be able to save them now, but already 10 drones going down. Zest hitting in 2 places at once, testing Lambo's multitasking, and Lambo, for the moment, has answered the call. Corrosive File's gonna come down on the Warp Prism, will get it, and that's a huge pickoff for Lambo.
Yeah, Steadfast, I really don't like, oh, he's gonna get the 2 Immortals as well. Maybe he recalls here, but even still, Zest is dead here. This build may be a cool idea, so far out of the meta. No one does a 2-base all-in PvZ. It's just not good because of how eco scales, but because of how the meta is at the moment. Lambo, he holds this plum. He's sitting up here, 50, 60 army supply ahead. He's got extra bases. He's down in workers just a little bit, but that doesn't matter because I don't know how Zest holds the follow-up.
Well, it's simple. He doesn't. This is a gigantic army supply lead. Yes, it's Roaches. Yes, it's Ravagers. And yes, there's a lot of high-value supply units in those Archons. It doesn't matter. Oh, and a great Contaminate from Lambo right there on the Warp Prism. That is really nice. And honestly, there's no unit on the wall.
Oh, no.
Oh, Zest is going to let the run by as Lambo comes on in. And it's just 3 Archons against Mass Roach Ravager. GG is going to get called, and Lambo turns it around, grabs game number 2, and, well, keeps his hopes alive of ruining Zest's hopes.
And actually, no, Steadfast, I think that game, coupled with the fact that Bunny won game number 2, ruins Zest hopes in general. Because even if Bunny loses the series now, that's not updated, actually. Let me look at Liquid PD here as we get into game 3. Zest plus 0, Bunny plus 1. Yeah, so even if Bunny has the head-to-head against Zest, right?
No, Zest has a head-to-head against Bunny.
Okay, so we're still live. Okay, we're still good. Because it would be +1/+1, both players 3 and 2, assuming
it's map wins before head-to-head though, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying they would both be +1 map. Oh wait, no, sorry, map wins, not differential. You are
not
correct.
Map score. Yeah. We have to do some math here because Bunny. I think Bunny's score is already calculated, so he's already at 6 wins.
It is, yeah.
He would go to 6-6, and Zest would go to 6-5. Oh yeah, no, Zest would come out ahead. Yeah. Zest has would have the map.
Zest is currently at 5-5. Best he can do is 6-5, 3-2. Bunny is at currently 6-5 right now. Best he can also do is 7-5. Or best he can do is 7-5 if he wins. If he wins, then there's nothing that Zest can do. If he loses, he'll go to 6-6. Zest would be 6-5, assuming that he wins, which would still.
So he would just win on map differential. Yeah.
Yes, but
not even map wins. Yeah.
But he has nothing that he can do. But he does not have his life in his hands anymore. It really requires that Bunny loses this next map for Zest to have any shot at advancing into the playoffs.
Technically speaking, he never had his life fully in his hands. He was always relying on. I think he was relying on a 2-0, because if Hero Marine had gotten 2-0'd by Bunny, Zest could have. Is this right? I think Zest could have caught up to Hero Marine in the score line, but Hero Marine had the head-to-head, so would have. And he would have had the map score or the map wins.
No, it would have been Zest would have. So Zest is plus. It would have. Well, if Zest 2-0'd, he would have gone to +3 or +2. Excuse me. Oh yeah, it would have been +2/+2. Okay.
Yes, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. It would have been +2 versus +2 with both the head-to-head and map numbers going in the favor of Hero Marine. So Hero Marine losing was always an elimination for Zest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zest needs Hero Marine to win, or if Estrella win or if Trap
is
loses,
up 1-0.
Yeah, so the worst he can do is +2. Yeah, no, the only place where I think map score mattered was in Trap versus Estrella, and because a Hero Marine win or a Hero Marine loss would always keep Hero Marine ahead of his opponent. Yeah. Okay, we're going to be getting into game 3 for Blackburn. Regardless, end of the day, Zest, the only thing he can do is win this game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he needs to focus on. Doesn't matter really what happens in the other series. He is looking to win this game to keep his chances alive of advancing. That is the long and short of it, and he just has to hope that Hero Marine can show the TVT prowess that he oftentimes shows.
Yep, and it's going to be Blackburn, which has got to be a Zest favored map, considering what we've seen out of Lambo, what he has decided to do. This is not really a map that you can walk queens on all that easily. It takes a while to get into the third, and Zest has some pretty interesting strats on how he looks to deal with queen walks on this map in particular anyways. So, we're going to have to see what happens as we are loading in now to game number 3. Lambo finally took a map in Group Chaos. And that is at least something that he can hang his hat on. He's going to look for a series now, get the $200, maybe make something happen with that. But now, Steadfast, we are almost in. We are in game number 3 here, our last series of Group Chaos. Let's get into it.
Hell yeah. Spawning down in the bottom left. Representing the Shopify Rebellion, it is the Blue Zerg player Lambo.
His opponent in the bottom right in the red. His life in his hands for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest.
And yeah, this is a really a situation that I don't think anyone expected going into this stage of the bracket. I did say, yes, anyone can win the group, and that has been pretty much proven to be true, as everyone was really in group contention winning up until I think part of the way through the 4th matches, obviously Lambo notwithstanding, but you know, I think everyone expected that with 3 Protosses, he would have a solid chance of coming out definitely into the playoffs, but also with a potential of winning the group if things went his way. But I don't think anyone expected that Zest would be fighting for his life down to the last map.
No, Zest has been the most consistent player of Katowice over the last several years. Again, 2nd place in 2020 and 2021. I kind of, when I made my bracket, I said, okay, well, Zest qualifies, and then it's probably going to be someone against him. We're all doomed to a PvZ final. We know how this works. But I do still think Maru's, if anyone makes it that breaks that curse, it's going to be Maru this year. But I had Zest in the finals. I had Zest losing in the finals because, well, history repeats itself. But, yeah, having to hope another player loses so he gets out is not a position that he is used to.
No, it certainly is not. But Zest or Beowulf, I gotta say, that's a misread. That's a significant misread right there. It's never gonna be, you know, Zest versus or a ZVP finals. It's gonna be Rogue versus the fans. And as we all know, Rogue has absolutely obliterated the fans in all of the recent matchups he's had. He is so good at just making sure that, you know, no matter how well the fans are doing and how enjoyable the games are, that he just sucks all the energy out of a room. So good at destroying the hype.
I mean, I don't know, Steadfast. Rainer won it last year. Rogue has only won 2 Katowices, so, you know, what a scrub. There have been 10 of them. He's only gotten 2. What is this? But in this game 3 Zest, he's not going to mess around with some weird charge DT all in that may or may not work. Now, with it all on the line, He's going for old, tried and true Void Rays on the way. Probably a second Stargate. It's Blackburn. It's so hard to put the pressure on for the Zerg on this map.
Yeah, it's a long rush distance. You got to walk through the middle of the map. You got to go all the way across. It is a very wide open third base, which does mean you can potentially get something done with a Queen Walk, but it's not easy. And as we saw in game number 1, Zest's defense was pretty nearly airtight with those Void Rays. We are going to be seeing we saw a cute little move from Zest where he started up the Warp Gate to make Lambo think, oh, I'm going Twilight Council, ha ha ha. And then, of course, he cancels it. But, you know, Lambo, I'm sure he was paying attention to that. He checked anyways, got the scout, sees its Void Ray, and it's like, okay, your tiny little trick didn't really achieve much. That's fine.
Yeah, so, well, we're going to have to see how Lambo looks to respond. I mean, again, for Zest, +1 air. We know the story. We don't need to talk about that too much. Lambo is pushing his creep towards the middle of the map here, so at least he has the option to do something, as Zest Oracle will not be nearly as successful, at least not yet, as it was in that first game. No stasis, nothing like that, at least not for now. So Lambo, he's allowed to mine. His queens are in good position. Second Stargate on the way for Zest, of course.
Yeah. Quick +1, second Stargate. Forge going to allow him to secure that third base. Takes you into the mid game very, very strongly as the Protoss. There's a reason that Void Rays are so good. There's a reason that I have the Void Ray printer emote in my chat. It has dominated the meta in this matchup for a very, very long time. We are going to be seeing no layer just yet, but that doesn't mean that we're going to be seeing a Queen Walk for sure. We do have 2 more gases coming in for Lambo. You know what? Actually, he's building a lot of queens right now, 3 at a time. I think this is just going to be a hatch deck. I think it is going to be a hatch deck Queen Walk.
Well, that is a 4th gas there now, actually, as the stasis trap's not going to get... Okay, it's going to get 2 workers, not too much. He's got up to 4 and 5 gas steadfast. Is this a fake to spool the oracles? That is a lot of gas for hatch tech all in.
It really... He's going up to 6 gases, and he still hasn't started his layer. He needs to start it soon if he wants to have tech. Ooh, stasis ward in the natural. Lambo will respond in time. It was a little bit slow on both draws, but able to get there with plenty of time to cause or prevent any damage.
This is interesting, though, as the Oracle does fly out. It is 6 gas, but Lambo has opted, I think, unless things... yeah, he's opted to go... Okay, never mind, it's a mistake. It looked for a second he was going 2 out of 3 on all 4 gas, which is, I guess, maybe a super optimized build, but... Okay, that was just a mistake. He's fine. What do you do with 6 gas, no layer steadfast?
You build lots of Ravagers, a crap ton of Ravagers.
That's one way to spend it. Ravagers are expensive, so starting to see roaches on the way. Queens are walking. Void Rays, they're already there to harass just a little bit. +1 air is done. We have the fleet beacon just about done. Zest, by the way, so confident in this hold. He's taking the gold while this happens, because why not? At the very least, if he loses his third, he has a gold to respond with. But okay, oh, interesting. Instead of getting Tempest to make this hold, he's going Flux Vein Voids.
I mean, the Flux Veins are going to make them a lot more maneuverable. There's a massive army supply lead for Lambo right now. Zest doesn't really respect this enough, I don't think. He's going to find himself in a lot of trouble. This is his tournament life on the line right here.
Yeah, I'm starting to get really worried for Zest as the Ravagers. You mentioned it, there are a lot of them compiling on it. It means the static defense does not last too long whatsoever. The Queen's trying to get on top of things. Void Rays staying out of range for now, but oh no, that's just gonna be a dead boy. You cannot rally over the Queens right now, Zest. This is your life, this is your destiny. But the Void Rays, they're falling down. Shield Battery overcharge, it's gonna do a thing, and the Ravagers, they're not in range just yet. But the Queens here, they're still firing strong, still plenty of energy on them, as Lambo looking to take his first series here in Katowice. And Zest, maybe he just had the mystery, but he still has 3 Void Rays coming in at a time. If he knocks the Queens down, even if he does lose this base, he has a 4th base on the way. It will be the gold, and Zest gives up the 3rd.
And you know what? Lambo has completed his layer behind this. He's got a Hydra Den coming on in. We are going to be seeing, look at that move right there. So it is so important that Lambo pushed up into the natural right here because he draws the Void Rays back. Now, he does need to disengage, doesn't want to throw away all of this army for free. He is in such a good spot right here. As long as he confirms the kill on the 3rd and 4th Nexi, he will be able to basically run away with the economics of this game. Oh, he's even going to find a Void Ray right here, keeping the Ravager alive. Does need to keep these Queens safe. Cannot afford to lose them just yet, but it is getting to the point where he soon will be able to switch into Mass Hydra and be able to potentially overwhelm his opponent. He is going to kill the 4th base in the background. He won't get any of these Void Rays, I don't think. Zest, very good with the micro, but preventing that counterattack. We saw Zest trying to go across the map with those voids, not going to do so. And that has been a lot of the ways that Protoss players have won against these Queen Walks is with the counterattacks.
Yeah, man, oh man, Lambo everywhere he needs to be at this point. Lings are going to filter on into the natural. The sentries are going to try to do what they can, but they're not going to do too much. Hydras, though, they're hitting the field right now, but there's only 6 of them, and they're coming in from a bunch of different bases. For right now, the Void Rays, they can kind of take this fight, but as more and more Hydras pile in, the Void Rays, they will start to fall. No shield batteries here, and on the other side of the map, Lambo, finally, he is here. He's going to knock this Void Ray down. It looks like the bile is going to hit. But actually, Lambo, he's going to be heinously supply blocked. The Hydras that he has are the only ones he's going to have for quite a while, and he only has 9 of them. Maybe there's a world where Zest does something, but it is not looking likely. The natural is going to go down. GG, Zest falls for the first time.